we travel, we have to pay for many things. I'm going to talk about paying for food. I have 3 points to justify my plan. Firstly, when we travel, we are going to eat at the local restaurant. So usually when we eat at a local restaurant, we are going to have our food in a tourist spot. And for those spots, their food usually has expensive prices. So because of that, we have to prepare way more money to enjoy this food in the local restaurant. And the reason why we go to this restaurant is because we want to experience local traditional food. For example, you can't go to Penang without trying their prawn noodle or any of their traditional dish such as laksa. So secondly, when we go to some other country, we may buy food from the convenience stores. It is usually cheaper to get food there, and it is a great way to experience what the locals eat daily. Right? So it's a great way to experience their life. For example, Japan is really convenient when it comes to buying food at this convenience store because there are so many of them on the street, and they are very affordable and very accessible for basically every single day. Thirdly, when we go to restaurant to have a meal, we might have to pay extra fee. It could be service tax or tips for the food services that they offer. For example, in the US, tipping culture is very common there. So whenever you have to eat at a restaurant, you have to pay extra to give tip to the waiters. That's all from me.
Very good morning to the examiners and fellow candidates. The situation that I've been given is when we travel, we have to pay for many things, and I'm going to talk about transport. So, I have 3 points to justify my answer. Firstly, we have to pay for transportation such as like train. This is because when we have our luggage or baggage to carry around, it is inconvenient for us to travel to places, for example, airports. So by actually taking train, it could be more faster for us to reach the destination and for us to avoid traffic jams. And secondly, we could spend more money on taxi. This is because if we want to travel to rural areas, this is actually inaccessible for train. So we could take taxi and cab. So thirdly, we could also spend our money on bicycle rental. This is because when we are going, when we want to travel to, for example, places like park, we could rent a bicycle for like to enjoy the view, the city view, and also to enjoy the view. And besides, when we actually go around through bicycle, besides paying like bicycle rental fees, we have to pay for some of the fees as well, like expenditure for food and accommodation.
Very good morning to the examiners and fellow candidates. So the situation I've been given is when we travel, we have to pay for many things. And I'm going to talk about paying for accommodation. I have 3 points to justify my point. Firstly, we must be paying for a hotel where it's more expensive but safety rather than a hotel which is cheap but it's more but it's a bit dangerous to go there. This is because for those hotels that are most expensive, there tend to be more safety than those places where we live is more dangerous. Secondly, we can live near the cities rather than must live near the city so we can save the money for transportation. We can walk to all those shopping malls, all those when we travel. And thirdly, we can choose to pay when we are paying for accommodation. We must pick wisely when we wanted living at a hotel or a homestay. For example, when we go travel when in a group, we tend to live in a homestay, so it will be more cheaper than when you live in a hotel. But if we travel in a more less people, when we pay for hotel, it's more cheaper than if we are paying for our homestay. That's all. Thank you.
Very good morning to examiners and fellow candidates. The situation that I've been given is when we travel, we have to pay for many things. I'm going to talk about paying for activities. Firstly, when we are travel, of course we must have some entertainment activities. So some of the entertainment activities is not free, so we need to pay for it. For example, let's say we travel to America and we go to the Disneyland and California. Of course, we need to pay for the tickets. And other than that, not only for tickets, some of the special facilities inside, like the roller coaster or others else, also need to pay extra. Besides that, we should also pay for the merch or the foods inside. So to those activities, you need to prepare enough money to pay for it. Besides that, when we travel to a foreign country, of course we want to know more about their local culture. So that some of us will rent some traditional clothes of it, and also will pay for a photographer. So when we went to the tourist attraction and take some photos and know more about their local cultures, and these things can let us to have a deep know about the local culture of the countries, and we can also try the traditional clothes or went to the traditional place like the Great Wall in China, so that we can know more about that place. That's all from me. Thank you.
all of the purchases we made actually adds up Good morning to the examiners. So let's kickstart the discussion on the advantages of going cashless when traveling. So to begin with, the first advantage that I think of going cashless when traveling is going to give us is it saves our time. So basically, when we pay cashless, we won't have to give them a real, piece of currency. So therefore, they don't have to give us change in a physical form. So as we know, usually the hardest part when we are paying is to find the exact amount of currency to pay, especially when there are cents or just a very small amount of money. So it also takes time for the cashier trying to find the change and give it back to us. What do you guys think?
I totally agree with you. I think that one of the advantages of doing cashless when traveling is to save our time to avoid giving changes. And besides, I would like to talk about points and rewards. I think points and rewards is sort of the advantage of going cashless when traveling. This is because for banks like United Overseas Bank, they actually provide discounts for their consumers to spend money outside through the money currency conversion. They will reduce tax rate for that. And this can help the consumers to save more money and so that they can spend big money on certain cashless. And besides, the app also provides support. So cosmetic companies such as Sephora, they actually provide discounts for what do you guys think?
I totally agree with your friend. Once afterwards, one of the advantages of cashless, and with that also encourage all the consumers using cashless. But in my opinion, I think that one of the advantages is also safer when we pay going cashless. This is because we can prevent pickpockets. For example, as we know, Paris, there's a lot of pickpockets during the tourist and in the tourist spot. So by going cashless, we can prevent that all those pickpockets that happen to your wallet because all your cash are in your phone instead of your wallet. That also can prevent by going cashless, we also can prevent our wallet going missing. Because if our wallet going missing or we forgot to bring our wallet, we can use cashless because we can use our phone to pay because all those payments are going cashless. All the money is our phone instead of our wallet.
Yes, I really like your ideas, and I want to add on some of the example of cashless payment. Like when we go into foreign countries, we can also use online banking, or we just pay by the bank card, so that we don't need to went to the money changers to change many money and take many cash on our side, so that our cash being stolen, so that is pretty convenient for us to protect our safety. Do you have any ideas, guys?
Actually, the question is, so you mentioned that most of our money are stored in phone or maybe on the card. What if the card also but get for example,
Then we also can maybe call to the bank, directly close payment during the process.
Let's take example of Apple Pay.
Well, let me add on my own point. So I think that other advantages of going cashless is also to avoid overspending. So you can let us to control our budget because if we using like just now what I mentioned, when we using online banking or using other apps like Touch and Go like to pay, there is a record that where what they spend on. Like they give you a summary that how many they spend on food, how many you spend on the shops, so that you can know the exactly and accurate amount what you spend on. It's a very good way to help us to control our budget so that we won't spend too much that out of our expenses to avoid any emergency case that we need more money. Do you have any other ideas?
That's a very good idea. I agree with that. But I also have one of my own ideas that we can, by going cashless, we also can convert the money instantly without going to the money changing center. That we can save some time. We also can prevent some money changing center by going a higher rate. So when we change, but when we are paying cashless in another country, when we travel to another country, we can use the lowest rate of the money changing to pay for our things during when we travel. Okay, so this idea.
Actually, I will talk about what can you can then give reflection on budgeting, because not only you can control your budget by tracking budget while traveling cashless, you can also overspend by using credit. So basically, if you didn't have enough money in your bank account or your phone application or anything like that, you can buy things with your credit card. So in that way, you have a better experience during your vacation, and you can pay back later without any extra interest charge if you pay on time. Right, what do you guys think?
Well, I totally agree with budgeting because student money keep a budget on. Well, allow me to talk about food and also my next one. This is because I think one of the advantages is that the talking is that way because as I mentioned before, like some banks they actually provide some discounts and also some of the tax rebates for consumers, and so that when you buy credit, it helps you to gain more for the experience of like buying some products. And not like cautious about like your wallet and so on.
Just like what JP said, if you are going to exchange session, they will charge you the service tax.
What can be
So in the end, you won't be able to save a lot of money instead you are supposed to get using
I think, especially when you're using like your phone to buy something, it will allow us online and if you're using like the rest of this on some of the customers and that it might be safe as well because hackers they might hack your account and convert our money into what do you guys think?
I definitely agree with that idea because not only the internet service, they could also hack your account by using some cashless payment by using QR code. Is there any idea on that?
I have a little bit some points of whether we talk about when track expenses. So for tracking expenses, it's like what Canadian just said. budget, we can, when we go on a budget, we can make like a small account of what we are going to spend for today, the sum of what we are going to spend today or what we're going to spend tomorrow, so we can make sure that we have enough money when we are traveling.
Well, actually, we were talking about the advantages. I would like to point out one thing about the cashless traveling, which is that not every country is available for that. So if you go cashless, right, if you're trying to go cashless, you can't really do it anywhere. For example, even in Malaysia, if you're going to a normal a market street, those people, they might not have cashless payment available for you to use. You have to use cash. You're forced to do so. So this might be one of the disadvantages of cashless, is that it's unavailable in many places.
Yes, I agree with you. Not only that, maybe some of the elderly who is not good in using the phones or other things, they are not very good in using a cashless payment. So they would more prefer to buy buying things or pay for it by cash. So in our opinion, all of us think that safer is the greatest advantage of going cashless when traveling. That's all from us. Thank you.